On YouTube. Today I just kind of wanted to start a little rant about Final Fantasy. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy lately, from all the retro games to the modern titles. I've been recently finishing the Final Fantasy Interlude, and I'm looking to play Rebirth after. And I kind of just wanted to go on a little rant about what I think the series needs. I know that the last Final Fantasy 16, it did not sell a whole lot compared to the amount of money that went into the game's development versus the amount of sales that they got. Now I know that Final Fantasy 16, it is beloved. A lot of people do enjoy it for what it is, but I also have heard its criticisms. And again, a lot of people don't think that that much money should have been invested into a game that really kind of doesn't have a whole lot of replayability. From what I heard. Now I haven't played 16. I am looking to get to 16 after I finish Rebirth. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about what I think needs to be added to the games moving forward to capture that initial fan base that Square Enix had. I want to say around Final Fantasy X, because these new games, while they look amazing and honestly they play really well, like Rebirth plays really well, 16 from what I see plays really well. The action combat system, while very fluid and dynamic and reactive, it does kind of alienate a lot of the people looking for that more traditional JRPG, Final Fantasy type gameplay. And I think Expedition 33 is one of those games that really showed what we could do with that style, where turn-based combat is still at the forefront. There are dynamic parts of that turn-based combat, and there are dynamic parts within the overworld, and there are dynamic things that even without the action combat with the action side, we can still implement these mechanics in order to give the game a deeper feel, because I think that Square Enix, they're constantly trying to reach new technical heights, whether it's like through their cutscenes, cinematics, obviously gameplay. They're always trying to kind of outdo what they've done previously, and I think that can still be done within the realms of it actually improving the gameplay and kind of improving the ethos of what a Final Fantasy game really is, because I feel like the game has kind of tapered off as far as it goes with the identity of the series. And I know a lot of people feel like this. I know that I'm not the first one, and I definitely won't be the last one to bring it up, but I just think that with the the idea of Final Fantasy 17 coming out soon, that it would be great for the community to kind of push this narrative as to what we want a Final Fantasy game to be moving forward. I feel like Square Enix has really pushed the boundaries of the genre that a Final Fantasy game can be, and now I think it's a fantastic time for them to kind of go back and look at their history and be like, okay, well, this really worked, this didn't really work. What makes a game replayable? I feel like that is a huge thing for Final Fantasy. Like if you look at all the classic Final Fantasies, right? Final Fantasy 1 through 7 really, or if you want to go crazy with it, Final Fantasy 1 through 10, those games are highly replayable. And it's because they're not extremely long in most cases, unless you're like 100%ing everything. But they're extremely dynamic in the systems that you want to play, the 30-hour story again, the 40-hour story again, or even the 20-hour story if you're looking at the pixel remasters, because those games are pretty short. And even through every subsequent replay, you could probably play, 5-10 times, between 5 and 10 times, and really have a complete different experience. And then maybe around that like 7th, 8th, 9th time, 10th time, obviously, you'll start to experience kind of repeated patterns, is what I've come to see and know and hear from the franchise. And I feel like with the newer games, dude, you cannot replay a lot of these games, and if you do, they're not really made in a way to where the experience is enjoyable again, if that makes sense. And I'm specifically talking about Rebirth, Remake, and 16, and even 14 to some extent, if we're being honest. So overall, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about, the state of the game, and really just kind of open up the idea to what makes a Final Fantasy game a Final Fantasy game. Is it the tone and the world building, or is it the mechanics, or is it like kind of an in-between of both, where the mechanics and the world building synchronize, they kind of blend together and make the world feel like a believable fantasy setting, and whatever setting that may be, because I don't think Final Fantasy technically needs to stick to a full fantasy theme. Like for example, 7 it's got some sci-fi elements to it. Obviously it's got some steampunk, some modernized elements to it, versus 16, which is like more of a dark fantasy. They can really experience or expand upon the experience and kind of not limit themselves to patterns. Anyways, that's been my rant. Peace.